The answer, if you're in a hurry, is at least 4, probably 5, possibly more. But let me elaborate. First off, if you've seen my previous videos this spring, the question posed in the video title might seem odd, since I've so far only shown one pair of kestrels. A male, recognizable by his grey head, and a female. I even caught them sneaking in some morning eggs on April 5. They went at it again at noon. But later on the same day, I noticed a ring on the leg of a male kestrel sitting on the windowsill, something I hadn't seen before. My initial assumption was that I had just been suffering from ring blindness before. But a thorough look at the footage I had captured so far this year confirmed that, indeed, the male I had been seeing didn't have a ring. And it's not the case that it got ringed recently, since I saw the non-ringed male again after seeing the ringed one for the first time. A look back at last year's video of the chicks growing up also reveals that their dad didn't have a ring, but on its own that doesn't hold much meaning. A lot can happen in 10 months. So I've seen at least 3 kestrels, 2 males and 1 female. Now, 2 days later I observed the ringed male mating with a female. The question that immediately comes to mind then is whether it's the same female I'd been seeing previously or a different one. I have to admit that I can't quite tell, but I think they're distinct individuals for 2 reasons. First, because according to my Wikipedia and Google research, infidelity among kestrels is low, and that's only talking about males. I didn't read anything at all about females quote-unquote cheating or commonly changing partners in the middle of the mating season. And second, looking at some still frames, their plumage looked different in its details to me, but that could be a false sign. It can look very different depending on how much air the bird is keeping trapped in its plumage to keep warm. Just look at this. So probably there have been 4 birds, 2 pairs. The pair with the ringed male appears to have displaced the previous pair. Before April 5, I've only ever seen the non-ringed male, then I saw both on April 5, and ever since I've only seen the ringed male. It was a very windy day, and the kestrels did a lot of fast soaring around town, too fast for me to capture in high enough fidelity to let me check whether this is a pair or 2 males breezing around. As far as I'm aware, there hasn't been a fight of any kind, but of course it might not have occurred right here. Whatever the circumstances might have been, I'd like to think that the original pair just found a different nesting site somewhere. At the start of the video I said there's at least 4 kestrels, possibly 5. That's because I've recently learned more about how a male kestrel's plumage changes with age, so I paid some attention to the male's tail feathers while looking through my pre-April 5th footage, and I noticed something. A male with very visible barring on its tail feathers, which means that this male is only 1 or 2 years old. The 2 other males both have fully grey tail feathers with only a single black bar at the bottom. As did last year's father, by the way. So there's been a 3rd young male. I suspect he's one of last year's chicks, since he was seemingly trying to get a snack from this female, which I suspect is the non-ringed male's mate, but I can't know for sure. Finally, it's always possible that there might have been a 3rd pair or additional individual birds at some point. I have no idea. What I can tell with certainty is that there's been at least 4, or assuming no cheating, 5 kestrels. For the near-term future, I expect to see the ringed male and his mate spending more and more time around the nesting site until she hopefully lays eggs, almost certainly on the part of the windowsill that I can't see, but I'm hoping to witness some food deliveries. And in a month or 2, some chicks. This was filmed on July 6, 2020, just a few days before last year's brood fledged. Extrapolating back in time, I expect this year's eggs to be laid towards the end of April and hatching to occur in late May.